Hello everyone. In the last tutorial, we had added grids and levers to the project file. Now, in this tutorial, you will add structural columns and structural walls to the project created with the following project parameters and specifications for completing this project. The first project parameter is structural columns. To create these structural columns, we are going to use the concrete rectangular column type with the dimension 12 inches by 24 inches. Second one is structural walls. To create these structural walls, we are going to use the 12 inches width with the core shaft function. Third and last one is file name to be assigned to the particular project as C04 Commercial Complex Tute 1. Next, we are going to see the steps to be followed to complete this tutorial. The first step is start a Revit session and open a project file. Second one, create a structural column type. Third one, add columns. Fourth one, modify the height of columns. Fifth one, add structural walls. Sixth one, save the project using the Save As tool. And the last one, close the project using the Close tool.
First of all, we are going to see opening the project section. In this section, you will open the project file created in the last tutorial. To do so, go to the File menu and choose Project option from Open menu bar. You can see here the Open dialog box is displayed. In this dialog box, browse the location wherever you have saved your project file. In my case, I am going to browse C drive. Select RST 2024 folder and then select C03 RST 2024 Tute subfolder. Then select your project file and then choose the Open button from the Open dialog box. The selected project file opens in the drawing window in the Entry Structural Plan view. Next, we are going to create a structural column type. In this section, you will create a concrete rectangular column type to add to the project view. To do so, choose the Column tool from Structure panel of Structure tab. You can see here the Modify Place Structural Column contextual tab is displayed. After that, go to the Properties palette and select the specified option from the Type Selector drop-down list. Select 12 inches by 18 inches concrete rectangular column size. Then choose the Edit Type button. You can see here the Type Properties dialog box is displayed. In this dialog box, choose the Duplicate button. See, the Name dialog box is displayed here. In this Name dialog box, enter the value as 12 inches by 24 inches. And then choose OK button. The Name dialog box is closed. After that, in the Type Properties dialog box, click the value corresponding to the edge parameter. The existing value 1 feet 6 inches is highlighted. Then replace the existing value with 2 feet 0 inches and then choose the OK button. The Type Properties dialog box closes and the preview of the new column type attached with the cursor is displayed in the drawing area. The next section is adding structural columns. In this section, we are going to add structural columns to the model. To do so, right-click in the drawing area and choose Zoom in Region option from the shortcut menu. You can see here the cursor gets modified into zoom icon. After that, move the cursor and place it between the grid lines marked 1 and A. Click at an appropriate location. You can see here the rectangular selection window appears. Then move the cursor downward to the right and click between the grid lines marked 5.1 and C2. On doing so, the project view zooms in so that the columns can easily be added at the desired location. Then select the Rotate After Placement checkbox in the options bar and choose the Height option from the first drop-down list next to it. Then ensure that the Room Bounding checkbox is selected in the options bar. After that, place the cursor at the intersection of Grid 1 and Grid A. The Grid 1 and Grid A are highlighted. Then click when both grids are still highlighted. Preview of the column with its center aligned to the intersection of Grid 1 and Grid A is displayed. Then move the cursor upward to the right. The rotation alignment line appears with a temporary angular dimension. After that, type 90 You can see here an edit box with typed value is displayed near the temporary dimension. Then press enter. A column is inserted at the intersection of grid 1 and grid A. Next, repeat the steps to insert other columns of the same type and alignment at the different grid intersections. Do not exit the column tool even though you have inserted all columns at the different grid intersections. After inserting all the columns, choose the Add Grids tool from multiple panel of the Modify Place Structural Column contextual tab. You can see here the Modify Place Structural Column Add Grid Intersection contextual tab is displayed. After that, place the cursor on grid B and click when the grid is highlighted. The grid B is selected. Then press and hold the Ctrl key and click on grid 4, grid 5 and grid G1 to select them. After that, place the cursor on grid B and click when the grid is highlighted. The grid B is selected. Next, press and hold the Ctrl key and click on the grid 4, grid 5 and grid G1 to select them. You can see here the columns are inserted at the grid intersections of the selected grid. Now, choose the Finish button from the multiple panel of the Modify Place Structural Column Add Grid Intersection tab. After choosing the Finish button, see here the Modify Place Structural Column contextual tab is displayed. Then choose the Modify button from Select panel in the Modify Place Structural Column contextual tab. Now we are going to see the next section, that is modifying the height of columns. In this section, to adjust the thickness of slab in the structural model, you will modify the height of inserted columns by adjusting their top offset distances. To do so, place the cursor between grid A and grid 1. Next, press and hold the left mouse button and then drag the cursor downward toward the right along the selection window until it is placed at the location. After that, release the mouse button and click. You can see here all the columns inside the selection window are selected and the Modify Structural Columns contextual tab is displayed. Then, in the Properties palette of the selected column, click in the value field corresponding to the top offset instance parameter. Clear the existing value and then enter -1 feet. After that, choose the Apply button in the Properties palette and then Modify button in the Select panel of the Modify Structural Column tab. Now, select all the columns using the selection window as done before. In the Properties palette of the selected column, select Entry option for the base level and second floor for the top level. Then choose Apply button. The height of the columns is set between the entry and second floor levels. Then, the next section is adding structural walls. In this section, you will create a structural wall type and add it to the project view. To add structural walls, choose the Wall Structural tool from Wall drop-down in the Structure panel of Structure tab. You can see here the Modify Place Structural Wall contextual tab is displayed. In the Properties palette, select the desired option from the Type Selector drop-down list. Here, I am going to select Exterior 8 inches concrete option from the Type Selector drop-down list. Now, choose the Edit Type button. You can see here the Type Properties dialog box is displayed. In this Type Properties dialog box, choose the Duplicate button. After choosing the Duplicate button, you can see here Name dialog box is displayed. In the Name Edit box of Name dialog box, type Core Shaft 12 inches concrete and choose OK button. The name dialog box is closed. After that, in the Type Properties dialog box, choose the Edit button displayed in the value column of the structure parameter. See, here the Edit Assembly dialog box is displayed. In the Layers area of the Edit Assembly dialog box, click in the Edit box in the Thickness column corresponding to the Structure 1 function and enter 12 inches. Next, press Enter to replace the existing value. Then, choose the OK button. See, here, the Edit Assembly dialog box closes and the Type Properties dialog box is displayed. In the Type Properties dialog box, select Shaft Cover option from the drop-down list corresponding to the function parameter from the construction area and then choose OK button. The Type Properties dialog box is closed.
Next, in the options bar, select the height option from the first drop-down list. You can see here the warning message box appears at the bottom of the screen. Close the message box. After that, select the second floor option from the second drop-down list in the options bar and then clear the chain checkbox. Then zoom in the drawing and move the cursor toward the column at the intersection of grid 4 and grid B. Then place the cursor of the right face of the column. Click when the right face is highlighted and the midpoint snap is displayed. After that, move the cursor horizontally toward the right and place it at the midpoint of the left face of the column located at the intersection of grid 5 and grid B. Click when the midpoint and horizontal snap appears. Then move the cursor and place it at the lower face of the column located at the intersection of grid 5 and grid B. Click when the midpoint snap appears. After that, move the cursor vertically down and place it at the upper face of the column at the intersection of grid 5 and grid D. Click when the midpoint and vertical snap appears. Then place the cursor at the lower face of the column at the intersection of grid 5 and grid D. Click when the lower face is highlighted and the midpoint snap appears. After that, move the cursor vertically downward and place it at the upper face of the column located at the intersection of the grid 5 and grid E. Click when the midpoint and vertical snap appears at the intersection point. Then repeat the method of adding structural wall as done before. Then choose the modify button from select panel of modify place structure wall. After that, select the wall placed on grid B and then right click. A shortcut menu is displayed. Then choose the visible in view from the select all instances drop-down list. See here all walls in the project view will be highlighted. Then in the properties palette, enter -2 feet in the top offset edit box and choose apply button. Finally, to save the project, go to the file menu and choose project option from the save as menu. Then browse the location wherever you want to save the file. Create a folder C04 RST 2024 tube and enter the file name C04 Commercial Complex Tute 1 and choose OK button. The Save As dialog box closes and the project file is saved. Now you know how to create a structural column type, add columns, modify the height of columns, and add structural walls. Thank you for watching this tutorial.